My fiancé begged me to keep our relationship secret from my father, claiming fear and timing issues, but when the truth finally surfaced, I discovered a hidden past, a shocking termination, and a betrayal that changed my family, career, and trust forever. Completely. I, 33 male, have been with my fiancée, 31 female, for a little over a year, engaged a few months now. She and I met years ago because she was my dad's executive assistant. I didn't know her well until after she left. My dad, 55 male, is a big partner at a well-known law firm in our area. My dad hired Brooke, my fiancée, fake name, when she was 25. Brooke was his executive assistant for 4 years and then left for another opportunity. But it did sound like things were tense between them when she left. Brooke and I had bumped into each other at a bar by the office. I'm a lawyer in the same firm. I work in a different department. We ended up hitting it off and it wasn't long after that we started dating. For a while, she didn't want me to tell my dad we were dating, which I thought is a little weird, but maybe she was just still feeling bad about leaving. Whatever it was, I left it aside and we didn't tell him. But now that we got engaged, it came out to the family. I felt like my dad got pissed. Didn't react, but I can tell he was clearly not happy about it. He tried to keep it together, but he clenched his fists and tight jaw. I noticed. He said he's fine and congratulations, but it still just seems weird. And now I'm suspicious something more happened between them. I have asked both of them and they have both told me, of course, nothing unprofessional happened between them, just that they didn't end on good terms. That's about the details I get from either of them. So, am I overreacting or does this seem suspicious? Well, I don't think you're overreacting. I mean, the fact that she was his executive assistant for 4 years, then something happened and she didn't work for him anymore and she didn't want you specifically to tell him about you two dating. Then when you get engaged, you tell your dad and he's furious. Clenched fist and tight jaw. So yeah, something very suspicious is going on in the background and they're both refusing to tell you because I'm sorry, nothing unprofessional happened between us. That sounds like legal jargon for I don't want to tell you what actually happened. Now, in my opinion, out of the two of them, I would think your dad would be more inclined to tell you everything than your girlfriend. I mean, considering she's the one that didn't want to tell your dad and your dad was angry about something. So, if I were you, that's where I'd be pushing to get more information. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. And now, let's check out the community comments. Materialvist 7621 says, not overreacting. Not going to lie, I don't think you're crazy for feeling weird about this, but there's also no actual proof anything happened. The secrecy plus your dad's reaction would mess with anyone's head. That said, you've asked them both and they gave you the same answer. So, at some point, you either choose to trust it or decide you can't live with the doubt. I don't think this is overreacting or like spiraling because the situation itself is uncomfortable. And Dopey responds, I would feel less suspicious if they gave me details on why there is such tension between the two of them now over a year later, and if they explained why exactly they were on bad terms when she left, but they can't get into work stuff is what they say. I do understand that's true to a point, but it also leaves me questioning what exactly happened between them. Reddit Hello Ma says, are you sure you two just bumped into each other at the bar? I could totally be wrong, but there really are people who go out of their way to accidentally run into their ex-boss's son who they were in love with. Maybe that's just my detective brain talking. Coverfig 4662 says, I wanted to add that there could be any number of things that would cause secrecy that aren't quite exactly that situation. Like it's possibly that she doesn't want to say anything that your dad did that caused her to leave. Perhaps she now knows something incredibly negative about him and doesn't want you to have to know. It could also be the other way around. Or perhaps they just had a much more major falling out than they are letting on. Under those circumstances, having this woman as a daughter-in-law would most definitely be enough to elicit that reaction. I don't know why I didn't get the sleep with vibes like everyone else. Maybe I'm just naive. Regardless, maybe you need to go to your fiancée and remind her that whatever it is going to have to come out eventually. And Shireen says, it's very simple for me. Just tell her in simple terms. Either you tell me the truth about what happened or there will be no marriage or relationship whatsoever. If she's serious about you, she will tell you the truth, whatever that may be. If not, then you got your answer anyway. Additional information from Opie's comments. I don't have a great relationship with my dad. It's always been strained. We talk about work and surface level things, but I don't share my personal life with him much. That's why at the time it didn't feel that strange that Brooke didn't want him to know we were dating. She had left his employment on bad terms and said things were weird between them. And given my history with him, I didn't push it. That said, once we got engaged, I assumed enough time had passed that whatever tension existed would be over. Apparently, it wasn't. The reaction I saw from him wasn't subtle. He looked angry. Not awkward. Not surprised, angry. I've asked both of them directly what happened between them when she left. I asked about money, about another job, about whether he did something inappropriate, about whether she felt mistreated. The answers are always the same. It wasn't a big deal. It was just tense. It was work stuff, and nothing unprofessional happened. The thing that bothers me isn't just what they're saying. It's how rehearsed it feels and how resistant they both are at giving any details. What's also hard to ignore is that Brooke gets extremely upset when I try to talk about it. She says I'm making it into something it's not, and that this is exactly why she didn't want to deal with it in the first place. That reaction, more than anything, is what keeps my mind spinning. If it truly was nothing, I don't understand why it's this hard to explain. I want to be clear. I don't want there to be something there. I love her. I plan to marry her. But between my dad's history with women, the secrecy early on, the tension between them now, and the lack of clear explanation from either side, I can't shake the feeling that I'm missing a piece of the story. I'm not trying to blow up my relationship over a baseless accusation. I'm trying to figure out whether this is my gut telling me something important or if I'm letting my distrust of my dad poison my thinking. That's why I'm here asking if I'm overreacting. Opie's edit to update. Turns out it wasn't exactly what I expected. Apparently, before Brooke left the firm, she got drunk while on a trip with my dad and confessed feelings for him. It didn't go further than her kissing him. However, my dad couldn't continue having her around as his assistant after this. The fallout was a mess. The two of them did not speak after that, but she didn't need to talk to him because a couple weeks later, she got the younger model. Sad face. So, here we are. I feel just as confused, hurt, and unsure. I don't understand at all why she wouldn't have told me this. I don't know how to process any of this. I was prepared to process that they were hooking up or my dad was hitting on her. I was not prepared to process that I might just be the second choice here. She was able to score since dad was unavailable due to their career ties. The community agreed that Opie was not overreacting. And from that edit to update, we understand why something very weird was happening and some of the truth has come out. So, let's move on with the first of two updates to see what happened next. My dad showed up to our talk with the three of us with a reasonable amount of evidence to show they did not have any kind of relationship beyond boss and assistant, and that there were multiple instances she tried to breach a physical line before she was essentially terminated. He clearly had been prepared in case she tried to twist this on him after she left. My dad didn't just verbally deny anything. He showed me documentation related to her departure, including HR involvement and security issues that I hadn't been aware of before. There was a severance package. I'm a partner at the firm, which means I was able to review Brooke's NDA and HR paperwork myself, and from what I've seen, this wasn't handled quietly or casually because he never thought it would come back up when she got engaged to his son. So, here we are. She did not deny any of it. She just cried and apologized a lot. My dad stated he wasn't trying to break up our relationship. He was just tired of me accusing him of sleeping with his assistant. He said, I wouldn't ever hire an assistant I'd be worried about sleeping with. And I'm pretty sure that just made her cry harder. I'm at a loss. She swears our relationship didn't have anything to do with this and she was over it. I'm not buying that though. 2 weeks doesn't really seem like over it. I'm at a complete loss. Even if nothing physical happened, it's hard to ignore that context now that I know it existed. She's in law school right now. I've been funding that dream for her. Even if we break up, I don't think I would just cut her off. I had promised to support her education, and I don't want to leave her in a worse position because of this. That doesn't mean I'm staying out of guilt, but it does complicate things emotionally. We were supposed to get married next year. I've already put plenty into this wedding. I've bought us a home. I plan to spend my life with her. I love her. But now, I just don't know what to do. Looking back, things moved very fast. Brooke initiated a lot of major steps early on. Moving in, conversations about marriage, sending ring and house listings. At the time, it felt like two people in their 30s knowing what they wanted. Now I can't help but question whether I should have slowed things down instead of assuming momentum meant certainty. My mom says my dad's a scumbag who probably still caused this somehow and thinks I should give Brooke an opportunity for counseling. So I am very much considering that at this point. This didn't go any of the ways I thought it might. I have realized through all of this how much my mom's feelings toward my dad shaped my view of him. My parents had a very messy divorce and my mom has always spoken extremely negative about him. I don't have a close relationship with my dad, but I'm starting to see that my baseline assumption has always been that he's lying or manipulating. That doesn't automatically make him innocent here, but it does make me question how much of my reaction was already primed. So, I agreed to meet my dad alone for lunch. He asked for a one-on-one conversation, saying, we've never really had an honest father-son talk, and that maybe that's part of why this blew up the way it did. We already tried talking with Brooke present, and that went very badly. So, this felt like the only way to at least hear him out without everything turning into a confrontation. Thanks to everyone who has read this and all the comments. I do appreciate everyone who has taken the time to read, share their thoughts, and respond. This has been an absolute whirlwind and it's been very helpful to have a sounding board. I'm really not sure where to turn next. It's hard to just end things. But it is also hard for me not to feel like she wanted me because I reminded her of my dad. Wow. A lot of things happening. A lot of things coming out to light. And Op's a bit dizzy. So, let's move on to the final update to see how this story ends. I'm leaving. Well, true colors were shown. I got a conversation revealed to me that she's not going to be able to talk her way out of basically her admitting to a friend she was trying to hook up with me, and then going into explicit detail of our sex life with this friend, which might not bother me otherwise, but this was some weird twisted crap comparing me to what she thought my dad would be like, and then them trying to plan keeping me from telling my dad even if she loves me. Now, I couldn't get past the manipulation and lies. I told her, I'm done. I plan to help cover a month on a place and finish this semester's tuition, and that's it. And that's just because I'm not the kind of man who would leave a woman high and dry no matter the situation. I can't marry her, though. I'm quite devastated. Still pretty numb. Glad, however, to feel firm in a decision. Thank you again to everyone who commented. I have tried to respond, but there are so many. I do appreciate it. You all are the reason this is ending in 24 hours and not after we already got married. I kept questioning things because I had people telling me I wasn't crazy. So, thank you to all. I left all the updates so you can go through the crazy story if you feel like it. My life is not usually this interesting, so enjoy. On a positive note, my dad and I had a really great lunch together today. I realize I may have let others cloud my judgment on so many things. So, I'm trying to take a step back and see if I can rebuild a relationship with my dad since he was just about the only one who has been honest in this situation. And I told him earlier I would have wasted a lot less time and money. Oh well, lessons learned. I'm going to keep my therapy appointment and next time ensure I don't date a girl who is just trying to vicariously F my dad through me. Thumbs up. A man. OP. I absolutely understand why you'd want to get out of that. I think Brooke should also maybe book an appointment to try to work through her whatever it is she has for your dad. But the silver lining, OP, is that you're out of that relationship. You're free and you can start rebuilding a relationship with your dad who apparently got a lot of bad rap. So, here's wishing you both the best. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? And it's by user Wonderful Folds. Am I the A-hole if I report my coworker for making TikToks about me? I'll use fake names to avoid any more drama. I work with a younger girl. Let's call her Carla. We work in healthcare. Since she started, there's always been some sort of tension, and I never really understood why. For context, I had knee surgery a little while back, and I've had certain restrictions after going back to work. I genuinely wasn't aware that this was causing any sorts of issues because no one has mentioned it. They knew that I was out for a couple of months, but that was it. So, I didn't really feel like I needed to clarify with my coworkers why I was out for that time. I get home from work and I'm doom scrolling on TikTok and one of her videos pops up. Sad face. She's talking about how everyone hates me and how I'm just lazy and how they're all going to slash the bitch's tires. Me being the I wouldn't have known it was even about me if the caption didn't say and her name rhymes with and essentially puts my name. I'm the only one with a name that could possibly rhyme with the spelling she put. I spent the last hour crying and I just don't want to go to work tomorrow. I feel like I'm a genuinely nice person. I don't go out of my way to hurt anyone and I've never had any sort of issues with anyone. My mom was in nursing for 2 decades. So, I asked her what she thought and she told me I'm being too sensitive and that I should just suck it up and let it go. It's difficult for me because Carla also has a video up that has the back of my car in it. License plate full visible. Obviously, I looked at her profile after the fact. It's just not sitting right with me, and I don't feel like I'm overreacting. I work too hard and try too hard to be treated like this. I guess if it were to my face, I could respect it more. But it being online for strangers to also join in really bothers me. I feel like I'm in high school all over again. Am I the a-hole for reporting her? She'll probably lose her job, and that also bothers me. Well, OP, I'll keep it short. No, you're not in a hole for reporting her. Look, she can grab her phone and make all the little tiny video rants she wants, but threatening to slash your tires and putting your license plate on video, then that's something you should go to talk to HR about. And if she gets fired because of it, it is just the consequences of her actions. So, no op, you wouldn't be the all-hole. Go report. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. And now, let's check out the community comments. Complete Bold 5184 says, not the aisle. If you're fully honest about what she did and she loses her job, that's the consequences of her own actions. I said that. Future 6601 says, not the a-hole. Report her. That is insane behavior for an adult. And I would say she's acting like a kid, but I've never met any kids this bad. Show her that her actions have consequences. And Dopey responds, it definitely felt like a shock to the system just hearing the way she was talking about me. I was bullied relentlessly in high school, but no one ever said anything like that directly to me. I know she thought I'd probably never see the video, but gosh. And Mrs. B says, report her to both your employer and the police. She's threatening criminal damage. Don't feel guilty for another tiny second. She's got this coming. I bet you're not the first she's targeted online. As for her career, I would never want a nasty person like this taking care of me. You were doing a lot of people a favor. The community says, OP go report. So, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I reported her the next morning after I emailed my supervisor. My supervisor went to HR with me. I wasn't the first person she's done similar to. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, her having several reports against her for the same thing made it easier on me. So, anyways, I reported her the next day and she was fired today. They pulled her into the office and made her watch her TikToks and then they let her go. I got the satisfaction of watching her get escorted out by security and her work besties were all smiles all day. No one treated me weird or anything. It was a very good day. Thank you to everyone who knocked some sense into me and helping me stand up for myself. I needed that backbone and I'll be working on that with myself moving forward. She also deleted her entire TikTok. We beat the bully this time. Nicely done, OP. Hopefully, she'll learn from this and stop being an idiot. And for you, OP, here's wishing you the best. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user VLC Insanity Player. How I stopped someone from giving my number out. Yep, one of those stories. This one's kind of short. I've had my current phone number for about 2 years. And for a while, I would often get phone calls and messages from all sorts of people asking for a Tom. Despite all my efforts to tell Tom and his contacts that they have the wrong number, they wouldn't listen. Eventually, Tom started giving out my number to real estate agents and other businesses to annoy me. At this point, I got sick of this BS. So, the next time someone called me asking for a Tom, I would message them back and tell them, hey, it's Tom. Sorry I can't answer your call. I'm getting my ass effed at a furry convention right now. It took me sending this message twice for me to get several missed calls from who I presume is Tom quite upset at me. Then I never got anyone calling me looking for Tom again. Nicely done, OP. Nobody saw it, but I stood up and clapped. Fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So, here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button.